A man in North Carolina built a roof over his garden. Cattle, panels, $40 tarps, about $150 total. Within 8 hours, 80 people responded. They shared bills. They argued materials. They adapted it for Colorado hail, Florida hurricanes, Oregon drought, New Orleans fungal rain. It looked like a modern community solving a modern problem. It isn't modern. It's thousands of years old. Most of the plants we baby in our gardens, tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers, evolved in sheltered environments. Filtered rain, gentler humidity swings, fewer splash-borne pathogens. They were never built for an open sky that dumps water on them without warning. So every few generations, gardeners discover the same thing again. Put something between the sky and the plant. In the archive, they call that a cycle. This is the cycle, and once you see it, you cannot unsee it. 4,000 years ago in spirit, recorded clearly by the 1st century AD, a Roman gardener, likely enslaved, set frames of lapis specularis over Emperor Tiberius's cucumber beds. Transparent selenite, a stone you could see through. The emperor demanded fresh cucumbers year-round. There was no out of season. There was only bring it to me. And the gardener delivered. Under those frames, cucumbers pushed through winter, through rain, through frost. The stone softened the light. It trapped a little warmth. It kept the hammer of the rain off the leaves. And the frames lasted centuries. History didn't record the gardener's name. It rarely does. The ones who actually solved the problem are almost never the ones we remember. But the technique survived because the technique was older than Rome. Move east, and the same idea wears a different face. In Edo period Japan, farmers stretched oiled paper over bamboo frames to shield tomatoes and seedlings from monsoon rain. They called it aim yoke, rain avoidance. No science journal, no extension office, just generations of watching what the rain did and answering it. The tradition still exists in rural Japan. In medieval Europe, Benedictine monks preserved covered growing inside monastery walls. Stone cloches, cold frames, walled gardens that made their own climate. They weren't only protecting plants. They were protecting knowledge when the wider world forgot how to grow through hardship. The monks kept it alive behind the walls. When knowledge retreated, someone, somewhere, always kept the ember lit. And then, 1851, Joseph Paxton built the Crystal Palace in London, 16 acres under cover. A cathedral of glass and iron. People walked inside and felt like they were standing in the future. They weren't. They were standing inside the oldest gardening idea on Earth. Scaled up. Different centuries, different continents, different materials, stone, paper, glass, iron, same principle. Then the 20th century happened. Land got cheap, inputs got cheaper. Industrial farming said, just plant outside, spray for disease, irrigate for drought, replace what breaks. Why build a roof when you can buy a chemical? So covered growing didn't disappear. It retreated into commercial greenhouses, research stations, and the quiet habits of older gardeners who never explained why. The grandmother who always grew her tomatoes under the eave. The neighbor who strung a sheet of plastic over the peppers They couldn't cite a study, but they were right. If you've gardened for years, you've felt it too. Tomatoes splitting after a downpour. Blight showing up right after a wet week. Peppers that do better under the porch overhang. Seedlings that rot in a cold, soaking spring. You didn't read it in a book. The garden taught you. We didn't lose this knowledge to a villain. There was no conspiracy. No single moment it vanished. We lost it to convenience, and convenience is the quietest thief there is. So why does shelter actually work? Because in many common garden crops, direct rain creates a perfect storm of stress and disease pressure. 4 things tend to happen when repeated rain hits leaves and soil. First, stomata flooding. Water films can block gas exchange on leaf surfaces. Less CO2 in less photosynthesis. The plant is standing in water and still, in a sense, starving for breath. Second, splash-borne pathogens. Soil microbes and spores get launched upward. Phytophthora, alternaria, septoria, like tiny artillery fired straight at the lowest leaves. That's why disease so often starts at the bottom of the plant and climbs. Third, cuticle micro damage. Wet-tree cycles stress the waxy leaf surface. Micro cracks open, and every crack is a door for infection. Fourth, calcium transport disruption. Wild moisture swings can interfere with calcium movement inside the plant, increasing the risk of blossom end rot. In susceptible conditions, the soil can be full of calcium, and the fruit still fails because the plant can't move it where it's needed. 4 different problems. 1 shared trigger. Uncontrolled water from above. Across multiple university trials and extension reports, rain shelters and protected culture often show higher marketable yields. Major reductions in foliar disease and longer harvest windows, depending on climate. Those are tendencies, not guarantees. Your rain is not their rain. Your soil is not their soil. But here's the part gardeners can feel without a spreadsheet. You can walk under the roof during a storm, and the soil is wet, but the leaves are dry. The water still reaches the roots. It just stops attacking the plant on the way down. That one change changes everything. Now, the archive's favorite part isn't the roof. It's the comments. 80 responses and 4 patterns that nobody in that thread named. But the archive always sees. Thread 1, the durability crisis. In Oklahoma, one gardener says the tarp lasted a month. In Tennessee, a year. In Houston, thin plastic died in one brutal summer. Roman stone lasted centuries. Japanese paper lasted decades. Victorian glass lasted generations. We replaced materials that lasted generations with materials that last seasons and called it progress. The ancients didn't have better technology. They had a longer memory. Thread 2, the structural self-correction. 4 experienced builders independently flagged the same issue. Wind load. Nobody appointed them. Nobody asked. That isn't criticism. That's how knowledge has always traveled. Ground up. voice to voice, one correction at a time. 1,000 years ago it happened over a fence. Now it happens in a comment section. The medium changed. The instinct didn't. Thread 3. The global climate mosaic. Colorado hail. Florida hurricanes. Oregon drought. New Orleans fungal pressure. Pennsylvania heat waves. One design pulled in a dozen directions at once, and in every direction the same ancient answer adapts. Put something between the sky and the plant. The material bends to the climate. The principle never moves. Thread 4. The inheritance. None of these people thought they were continuing a 4-year, 1,000-year tradition. They thought they were being innovative. And here's the quiet truth of the whole archive. They were. Innovation and rediscovery have always been the same thing. The Roman gardener, the Edo farmer, the Benedictine monk, Joseph Paxton, the man in North Carolina with $150 of cattle, panel, and tarp. They are all the same person, separated by oceans, separated by centuries, solving the same problem as if for the first time. 4,000 years, stone, paper, glass, iron, plastic, tarp. Materials change. The principle endures. Many of our favorite crops thrive when we give them what their ancestors had in nature. A filtered sky, softer rain, steadier moisture, fewer splash-borne outbreaks, not a sealed box, not a sterile machine, just shelter. The oldest gift a gardener can give a plant. Every generation discovers it. Every generation forgets. The tools get cheaper. The memory gets shorter. And then one rainy season, someone looks at their split tomatoes and their rotting seedlings and has an idea 4,000 years old. That is the cycle. And every generation, 80 people at a time, in backyards, monasteries, and commentant sections, remembers. The archive doesn't exist to keep this knowledge locked away. It exists so it doesn't have to be paid for in failed harvests. Every single generation. If knowledge like this shouldn't have to be rediscovered every generation, you know what to do.